Disruptors, I've got a fun show for you guys, a great show. This is the first guest from Close the Deal that I'm bringing back for the second time. First time this has happened. And I'm going to tell you why in a moment, but the guest today is Josh York. Buckle up your seatbelts because he's going to take us on a ride today. He has a ton of energy. He's a motivator. And he's also the CEO and the founder of GymGuyz, one of the fastest growing fitness franchises in the United States at this moment in time. And Josh, I'm going to welcome you to Close the Deal podcast.
Thank you so much. First of all, I appreciate you having me on. I appreciate you having me back.
Yeah.
And I'm ready to get into some great information and give a great episode to the people. So let's do it.
So we're going to run this a little different. For those of you who want to know about GymGuyz, I'm going to have the link in the show notes to that episode where if you want to learn about that franchise, they can learn about that. Go deep dive on that. But today we're focusing on what does it take to make it in business. And there are a few words we're going to throw at you, and we're going to have you rip on those words. But I want to start with the tire on the back of the wall that's behind you. The last time we spoke, I kept noticing that tire, and I finally asked you after the episode, what's the deal with the tire on the wall? So I'd love you to share a couple things. Obviously, there's very much a creative piece to you because that's the small tire on the wall. You also shipped some big tires. Let's start with the big tires and why you ship big tires to CEOs, executives around the United States. And then you can talk about the significance of that particular tire. And this is what it takes to get attention in today's world.
Absolutely. So I like to always say, people like to say, think outside the box. I like to think like there's no box. Okay. And, I live this whole motto of, fuel your drive. And it's the pillars of success within our organization. It's the core values of our company, drive. And one day, sitting in my ice bath, which I do every single day, 27 degrees in the morning, and I was like, man, it'd be really great if I started shipping people 18-wheeler truck tires, because it just makes a huge statement. And the message I'm going to put on a tire is my drive and intensity will leave tread marks all over your floor. We need to connect. And usually I don't give out my secrets, but I don't really mind because I know no one's going to do it. Number one, it's very, very expensive. Okay, you're talking about $600 every package. Number two, there's a lot of work involved in it. You need special type of bubble wrap. You need expansion wrap. It's a whole process to do. And an 18-wheeler truck tire is very heavy. So if you're not working out and exercising, you're most likely not even moving it. Okay. So I was like, I'm going to start shipping people tires. And the message I'm going to put on there is my drive and intensity will leave tread marks all over your floor. We need to connect. And that was like my kind of way to get connected with some great people, get on some of the biggest podcasts in the world, and really open up some massive doors for me. But one day I tried to flip the script a little bit and said, I want to meet this one person in particularly, but, and I shared actually with some of the people in my office at the time, and they laughed at me and they said I was crazy. They're like, there is no way you're going to meet him. No way. And I said, I want to meet Phil Knight, the founder of Nike. And let me just tell you something so I'm very clear, and for everyone who's listening, the last person you would ever want to bet against is me. Okay. You'll lose every single time. Okay. I will outwork you. I will outwork you, and I will outwork you. I will do things that you will never do. I never tap out. And, literally when you walk into our world headquarters, the first thing you see in the wall is we don't quit, because we don't ever quit. Mm-hmm. And those people that made those comments that day, of course, they're not even part of the company anymore, because, if you don't believe, you're not going to achieve. And I can't obviously have people on my team that don't believe in things I'm going to say, and if they don't believe in things I'm going to say, then most likely I can believe in what other people have to say. So I went out, got a big box. In that box, I put a heartfelt letter, a 2030 canvas of Mr. Knight in his younger years, a hardcover copy of his book, Shoe Dog, which is the greatest business book you will ever read in your life. I would highly implore you, to get that book and start reading it. It's just unbelievable business book. And retire. And I shipped it out. Nike stated if you were lucky, you would get a package back within 6 months to a year. Most likely, you're not going to get a package back due to the amount of packages Mr. Knight gets, because he's backed by a veil of corporate protection, and he's worth, $37+ billion. And you're most likely not going to get in touch with the guy. He's most likely going to ship it back to you. Well, man, did I make a splash. I got that box back in 7 days. 7 days it came back to me signed the tire, signed the canvas, signed the book. And I just sat there for a second because I was like, first of all, when the box was coming in my office, I ran to it like a with anticipation of like a 5-year-old child. I couldn't even believe it. I was like, I couldn't even believe it. Now, the one part of this I didn't share is that Nike made it very clear, if you do not put a prepaid box in the box, they're not going to ship it back to you. I didn't want the tire. The tire was to send a statement. He paid to ship the tire back to me. So I thought that was pretty cool. So anyway, got everything back, and that's where the miracle really dies, right? Like the magic is really after that point. Most people stop there and they just don't continue. Well, it took me about close to 70 phone calls, and I got in touch with his handler. I'm not even going to mention her name because I don't want people looking her up and calling her because she wouldn't like that. And she said that she's been with him over 30 years, and she said, Phil Knight pretty much deemed that remarkable and special. He's never been approached in that matter. He's never received a tire, and he would, agree to meet. And we were set to meet in 2020, March, and then COVID hit, and that kind of pushed everything off. And we are going to meet. We have not met yet. We are going to meet. It's in the works. But the point of this story is you have to learn to develop discipline and be consistent and understand that you have to be impatient with action and patient with results, because results take time. Things do not happen overnight. You have to put that work in and understand that there's a price to pay to be able to, have greatness come your way, and whatever that greatness may be. And, here we are today, some of the biggest podcasts I've got on, I've sold 7, 8 franchises from. Wow. You got to think differently. You got to think differently than everybody else. And that's how I like to think. And that's how I've been doing things for the last 17 years.
That's the creative piece I love. And you also had to jump through some other hoops too, because that's not a truck tire. You had to do your homework, because I don't think they would accept a full-blown truck tire at their headquarters. And you found that out. How do you find that out to know that? What dimension of a tire you can shift to the...
Yeah, honestly, I just figured it was just more like me just saying, like, there's no way I'm going to ship an 18-wheeler truck tire to him. It's just too much. And, you got to understand, like, it's almost like a little annoying because it's very hard to like get rid of. Like it's not like you did, all right, go throw it in the garbage. You got to you need like 2 people, 3 people to pick it up, or you got to roll it. Like it's very heavy.
Wait, has anybody ever taken the pictures of the tire in their office and showed it to you and sent it to you?
Yes, actually one person did.
Yeah, I would have, I tell you what, if I received a tire in my office, I would have that sucker on display so I could tell that story, because I love the creative piece of that. And talking about, they call those in the direct mail world, they call that a clutter buster. You obliterated everything else. So I love that. All right. So I wrote down a list of words, just to let you kind of rapid fire on these words. You already tapped into a couple of those words. And we started with the creative piece with the tire. And there's no rhyme or reason in the order of these words. But I'm just going to name them one at a time and let you go and see what comes to your mind. Focus is the next word.
Pain.
Interesting. Pain. And you can elaborate too. I mean, it was, The
reason I say pain is because there's a price to pay. And I'll tell you right now, the easy way never, ever pays well. Okay. Mm-hmm. And being focused is one of the most important things, because people like to jump all over the place. Mm-hmm. But along with focus comes pain, because you're going to have so many roadblocks. You're going to fall into so many holes. You're going to get ran over. Talk about 18-wheeler trucks. You're going to get ran over forward, back. You're going to have losses are lessons, and you're going to have lots of losses. It's part of the game. It's going to happen, and you're never, ever going to be able to avoid that. Mm-hmm. But you have to be willing to sacrifice. And all this ties in with focus, because if you don't quit, you can't lose. Yeah. But it's very hard to be focused when you have all these things constantly being thrown at you over and over and over again.
So one of those things that helps with that is another word that you talk about, and I can relate to, is passion.
Hard.
Yeah. So what is it about? I mean, when you're in the fitness, there are some industries. I hear people say you don't have to love what you do. I disagree. I think you have to at least have a genuine interest. But when you have passion,
You don't love
it's a
if you don't
total.
love what you, yeah, if you don't love what you do, it's not going to work, man. It's not going to work. I don't work. I freaking love what I do. Like I'm here like 7 days a week, man. I'm here like at 7 in the morning, and I'm here till like 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night sometimes. I love what I do, man.
Yeah.
And the greatest thing about our business, what makes it even better, is that on the flip side, you get to help people and change lives. So
Yeah.
what's more rewarding than that? There's nothing in the world more rewarding than that.
And it's contagious. When you love what you do, people, they flock to it. They do.
100%.
All right. Next word. Uh, This kind of ties to the first one I asked about, sacrifice. And I saw something recently, and you mentioned the word tuna.
Yes, so I just recently did a keynote, and they asked me to share the story of GymGuyz. So pretty much what I did was I shared the story, and I left out all the pain, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, and that's pretty much it. 10 years of franchising, overnight success, and everyone started laughing. And I said, "Oh, guys, I'm so sorry, guys. I, I left out so much of the story, and I had a piece of paper, and I wrote down like 20 things. We'd be there way too long. And I told them everything. I wrote down 20 things that have happened over the last 17 years in business, 10 years of franchising.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them was, in the early days, all I would eat was peanut butter and jelly and cans of tuna to save money. Like, I'd make a Costco run once a month, and I would literally just load up on that. And I can't even look at tuna anymore. I literally vomit or throw up. I can't even look at it. But like, I did everything in my power to save money so I can put everything back into the business. And that's what allowed me to really, elevate. And look, I still own 100% of my company. Like, and again, I'm a very positive person, and I always want to, push and wish positivity on other people. But the fact is, I don't think anyone would ever be able to get to where I got to without taking an investment. It's just impossible. You would never be able to do it. There's no way in hell you'd ever be able to do it. And especially the fact that you're not gritty enough to probably even do it, because, we created a new category. So that makes it 700 times even more harder than what everyone else did, because everyone else takes a path that they understand and they see how to travel, right? Like, if you compare, since we're talking about Nike, compare Nike and Under Armour. I have much more respect for Nike than I do for Under Armour. Why? Well, Nike clearly shown the path of how you have to grow and what you got to do, and Under Armour just followed it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, right? But Nike, the reason Nike has a book called Shoe Dog and Under Armour doesn't is because Nike started that. They created that category, and that's what we've done in the fitness space.
100%. All right. The next word, I'm going to go with resilience, because you're tapping into that, because when you're paving the path, there's got to be a little bit of resilience there.
Listen, if you don't have resilience, it's never going to work, man. If you don't have resilience, it's never going to work. All right. Like, everything you want to achieve in life, you must be resilient. Okay. Mm-hmm. Anything that's worthwhile, you have to. Okay. You just have to. And, the problem is, it's like, people don't realize, like, sometimes, like, the next day could be the day that changes everything for your life. Mm-hmm. And you day before because you're soft, weak, and you fold like cheap chairs. That's the problem. And you got to understand, you got to hang tight, doggy paddle, and just sit tight and know that things will get better. Like, you got to scratch, crawl, bite. You got to do whatever you got to do to get to the top of the mountain. It's not easy to do. And if you don't have resilience, you're never going to get there. That's why it's very important to do hard things every day. Like, the harder, the more discomfort you put yourself in on a daily basis, the more comfortable over time you will become. And it's very important. Like, I teach my kids, like, my kids are freaking animals, man. They're just, my kids are on another level. Like, it's not, like, just because I brainwashed them. Like, I just brainwashed them to understand what it takes to win. And, they know. I tell them, if you're not first, you're what? They go, well, fast. I said, that's right, because we're number one, right? And if something happens, and, like, my oldest was telling me, like, he was a short to get on a test. I said, okay, but listen, that's a good thing, right? Like, in sports, if you fail and you don't succeed and you don't win the title, it happens. But that, it's a lesson. You're learning. Like, it takes a while before you start to win. And That resilience got to be part of the equation.
And then that folds into the next two words, and you bled into those two words. Discipline is the next word.
Yeah, discipline is the most important thing. People think you need to be motivated. Motivation will last you about 25 seconds. That's it. Discipline is the number one, hands down, most important thing. If you are not disciplined, you will never do anything well. It's like, you know, look, I'm in great shape and I work out. I take care of myself. Okay. And you see that. You feel like when I walk in the room, you feel that presence. Okay. But it also is written on the top of my forehead. You just don't see it, that I'm a disciplined person. I have grit. I have the ability to have patience and wait for things. Cause I've been working out since I'm 15 years old. I'm 41 and I don't ever miss, ever. I don't ever miss, ever. You have to have discipline. And that's why I talk about working out. Working out is very important for a couple of reasons. Number one, it helps build the skill of discipline. It helps build your physique, which in return will build your confidence, which in return is like a calling card when you walk into a room. And on the flip side, what are the benefits? Well, you're healthier, your heart's healthier, you have better blood circulation, you don't get sick. I can keep going on. Movement is medicine, but the bottom line is you need to work out and exercise, and I can teach you a lot of these skills. But discipline is hands down the number one most important.
And time? How's time play in all this?
Everyone's got the same 24 hours in a day, man. It's all how you manage that time. People are like, oh, I don't have time to do this. Please tell us. Don't talk to me about that, because I always find time. But there's a reason why I wake up at 3:29 every day. There's a reason.
Yeah.
Like I number one, it's my quiet time. My phone's not blowing up. No one's bothering me, except sometimes my international franchise owners. But other than that, I am on. I'm on so early because I have to be on so early, because if I don't take care of myself, then I can't take care of the rest of the day, and I can't be the leader that I am, and that's why, people call me the fearless leader, because, I do what you got to do.
And that leads to, and I have all these words written. I've just been checking them off as we going down the line, just because they just naturally happen when we have a conversation like this. Action. I know what you're going to say there.
Yep. Listen, the action takers are the money makers, baby. Everyone wants to win. It doesn't happen without execution. It's action. People think you need to do 700 things every day. No, you don't. Do things that move your business forward every day, and rinse and repeat that for 10 years. You will win. You will win. That's what it's about. Rome is not built in a day. Okay. You can't build a physique in a day. You can't build a house in a day. You can't become a doctor in a day. You can't become a lawyer in a day. You can't go from being a baby to a teenager in a day. Doesn't happen. Doesn't work. So you got to understand that's what it's about.
Okay. The last one is kind of the two words together. And this plays into what you do with your franchisees, and it's learning/coachability.
But man, if you are not learning every day, it's a problem. Okay. And if you're the smartest person in the room, that's also a problem. I only put myself at the table with people who are smarter than me, have more money than me, and more successful than me. Because what does that do? That allows to elevate you. And it's very, very important. And that's how you have to grow and develop yourself. It's the most important thing. If you don't do things like that, you're not going to grow. You should always be a student, and you got to ABL. Always be learning. I am always learning, and I'm always curious and interested, and I ask questions, and you have to do the same, or you're not going to have success in life. It's very simple.
Yep, 100%. All right, so I got one bonus for you. And in Louisiana and New Orleans, we call that lagniappe, which means a little something extra. The bonus is this, and it's another layer of PR that you do. Cameo.
Yeah, so you got to put yourself out there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And by the way, I was flipping through my phone looking for something to thank one of my clients, and I thought about doing a cameo. And I ran across somebody on Cameo named Josh York. So I'm giving you a chance to promote your Cameo appearance on Cameo.
Yeah, you got to put yourself out there, man. If you don't put yourself out there, it's not going to happen. You got to put yourself out there. It's very, very important. And, if you don't, you might be uncomfortable. You might not want to do it. And I felt the same way.
Yeah.
I honestly never, ever wanted to do it. I think it's weird to do. I just didn't like to do it, but you have to do it.
You do.
I'm not saying you can't be successful, but you're missing like everything. Like you're missing the huge mark. Now, if you follow me, you will know I don't share anything with my personal life. I don't share anything. Like I don't put anything with family, my children, nothing. I'm not to that. I won't do it. Never will. Never had. And it's not going to change. But when it comes to business, I promote everything. And also for me, indirectly, it also motivates and inspires my franchise owners. That's very important to me too, right? So, if you want to be a good leader, you got to lead by example. And I do that every day. And I don't do it by talking. I do it by demonstrating. And that's very important.
Man, that's my list. We went right down that list. I knew this would be easy to do this list with you because you and I speak the same language. And I appreciate you, Josh. You're inspiring. I love you. I love your clips. People can, and this is all about connection. How can people find you? How can they connect to you with what you do? Just follow you.
Yeah, if you just go on Google and type in handsome, I come up on every page. So you can do that. Now you can find me on Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm just typing my name and I come up and you can connect with me. And most of the time I do respond. But if not, my team responds and I still go through it and I see it. So I'm on top of it. But yeah, that's the best way to connect with me.
Josh, I appreciate it. I'm going to have the link to your other show. I'm going to put that video below this video for the franchise. And folks, if you're interested in the franchise, I'm working with Josh and his team. You can get in touch with me. Just go to closethedeal.com and just hit the contact us button. We'll be in touch. Josh, thank you so much and appreciate you, sir.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
And that is a wrap with Josh. I have nothing else to add to that. Would like to mention my brand new book, Your First Franchise Roadmap. If you're interested in franchises, check it out. I'd like to gift you a copy. Go to yourfirstfranchise.com, yourfirstfranchise.com, and I'll get you a copy right away. Now, you know the drill. Be intentional. Make today a great day and make this year an awesome year, 2025. Take care. Bye-bye.